Hey kids, Vertical here, and welcome to Foundry. In Foundry, you usually build large, sprawling complexes similar to this, like in most factory games. But they just put out a couple weeks ago a bit of a challenge, which was something I wanted to try. The challenge is the tiny factory. So the idea is to build a tiny factory. They basically come up with a thing to make something as small as possible. So apart from a giant floating unit, they wanted this thing small. Basically the rules are simple. To build a small factory that builds robots, you cannot exceed more than 8 of any type of manufacturing building, excluding storages, belts, loaders, just not any of any specific type. Be creative, so on and so forth. I did not use anything. All resources must be belted in, no mods. Built on latest version. I'm on the current version of the Foundry game. And I want to see if I can actually share the file. So this is something I'm going to do at the end of the stream, or at the end of the video here. In the link, I'm going to try to put the share file. Now I'm not entirely sure if you load the save game, where it's going to start you out. So if it's close to 0, which is literally right over here, just head yourself over to the mall, call this elevator, and go down to the transport area. And if you run on these belts, they will get you there faster than any other method of transport in the game. Okay, so I kind of like the idea of minimalistic building, so I kind of got a bit of an idea and started off on it. The first thing I did is I found a location on the map where I had access to all of the resources that you need. That's the ignium, the xenoferrite, the ulmanite, the technium, which I pulled off of this one here, the telexite, and finally the mineral rock. I set up also water. I set up a series of belts coming to this location, which at this save point I don't have, and I dug a hole. Thanks to the new building mechanic, I literally was able to dig the hole without having to mess around quite nearly as long as I would have before. The reason being, of course, is the lava smelter has to be put on lava layer. So I came down, found a spot on lava layer, and connected it to a shipping pad. Now, after I had piped in all of the resources, I set up a basic list of what I needed to do. So I came over here. This is all of my needed constructions that I needed, and I began setting up basic resource processing. So basically all my raw ores processed into the resources I need for basic construction, and began piping them up. Now, after I had got my basic factory making me my raw materials, I pumped it up to the second layer and began making my more refined materials. That's all your components and pieces that I needed for the next step of the process. And now, after I had set up all my refined products, manufactured my robot parts, I pumped it up to the next layer and began setting up my assembly line. I made a mistake at this point and I didn't realize I did it, but as I started building the assembly line, I literally should have just put one station and then looped it back around on itself, because as I went further up, eventually I reached the point where I had more space above me than I needed. But here's the station up to the point where painting is complete. So now I can run the robot up to here and it will paint. Now finally I hooked up all of the things and I did my best at setting up logic. I made an on switch. There's actually an on switch in the end of the factory, but if you come to this point in the factory, you want to see the beginning, you can flip the button and it will start rolling robots out. And if you're like me and you want to walk through the first batch of robots as they go through, well, there you go. So you can come down here, you can flip that switch. And here we have it, kids. The final tiny factory as it stands from beginning to end, completed. We'll go up to the main floor and you can see what we have going on. Now I had one little problem, and that is the shipping pad is bigger than the factory itself. So I actually did a little bit of a thing and ran the shipping. So shipping is off the small factory, the tiny factory. So I've jumped through a few save games to get to this point. This is the tiny factory. If you go behind the desk, the same button is here. That turns on the factory. You will see it start up. I wanted to get a feel of, as they said, a thing of you. Let's see if I can get it. There it is. A thing of you against a tiny factory. You will see as this starts to function that it will use resources. It will slowly pump the ingots down the elevator. This thing will start to pump out some smoke. The landing pad is here just because I wasn't sure. And this is it. This is the factory. If I fly over, it's very small. Couldn't make it any tinier if I tried. Put a few doodads on just to make it look good. But you give it a few minutes, you should see the first set of robots coming down the pipe here.
You've got robots coming down the pipe.
Hey, there's a pipe full of robots.
Good job.
Such a good boy.
He's such a good cow. Such a good cow.
You're picking on me again.
No, I'm encouraging you.
I appreciate it. Love you too.
Yeah.
And there we have it. Your first fully functional, completely automated, tiny factory producing mining robots. Thanks for watching, kids. Have fun with the download. Good night for now.